What's going on, everybody? We are back. Of course, you know we took an L, but we might have gained some from that. So, hey, let's talk about it. We're gonna do it right now. CNT talking. Let's go.
This is CNT Talking Tigers. We're talking Auburn football. It's what we do. Welcome to the Tigers.
Hey, welcome to CNT Talking Tigers, talking Auburn football, what we do. Welcome back once again. Of course, I'm Courtney Chandler. There's Tony Milford, and we are so happy that you are with us on this Wednesday evening. We're back to our regular scheduled night of the week where we go live here on YouTube, CNT Talking Tigers. You know what we got to start off doing? Make sure you follow us on Instagram, CNT Talking Tigers, and also on Facebook as well. Shoot us some likes, subscribe. We are 200 strong right now, 201 strong. We trying to get to 500 and more by the end of the year. So we need y'all help. So help us out and continue to follow, continue to like, share, and subscribe. Tony, how you feeling, man? I know I mentioned it earlier. You know, we took an L, but how you feeling? You know, it was
Man, moral victories are sometimes needed,
yeah,
and a moral victory is what we can take from last Saturday's events on the plains. We didn't get the win, but we showed a lot. Uh, if our viewers who checked in with us last week when we had Mike G on, shout out to Mike G. We really appreciate you coming in and doing the show for us, and hopefully we'll be able to return the favor on the War Report soon. But I mean, we all had us losing to Georgia before the season. We all had us losing to Georgia last week. But if any of our viewers remember, and Courtney, you remember, I said there's a possibility of us winning that game. I also said it could look like the Texas A&M game. Mike kind of scoffed at me if you remember that.
yeah.
Because I said it's a 2:30 kickoff. It's gonna be electric. I mean, the stadium was packed. Recruits were everywhere. We were celebrating the '83 championship team. Bo was in the building. Cam was in the building. The energy was electric.
Yep.
And if you remember, I said if we could get a couple of stops, a couple of turnovers, get a 10-point lead, maybe close to 14, get the crowd in it, we can put a little pressure on Georgia, and we can make it a ball game. And we did just that.
Yeah.
So I was proud of the effort that the guys put in. We could have won that game. We very well could have won that game. Georgia may just have turned out to be the better ball club, but man, if you remember, I said last week, Texas A&M might have been a necessary evil. We might have needed that Texas A&M game to find, to figure some things out, to get where we needed to be for all the transfer portal guys, Peyton Thorne, the offensive lineman, for them to get a road experience in the SEC, their first SEC experience, shake that dust off, knock those nerves off, and come back in the home game and play Georgia really, really, really well. There were some things I loved about that game last week, some things I didn't like. We'll get into it. But all in all, I expected a loss. The game was way closer than I anticipated before the season, than I anticipated last week's show. But the scenario, it played out like I thought, and it was a close game. We were in it all the way until the clock struck zero. We had a chance to beat Georgia.
Yep. Yeah. Well, let's get into some more. I'm gonna bring this up on the screen. Of course, we know as Auburn fans, we took an L. We lost 20-27. Georgia, of course, as Tony mentioned, they won the game, but we saw a lot of good on the field on last Saturday. And before we get into the things that we can improve on, Tony, this is start talking about the good we saw on the game. I want to start with the running game because we had put 200 plus yards on a Georgia defense that hadn't been done in quite a while. So start
Two
that.
nine 219 to be exact. 219 to be exact. Quiz. He had a volume of carries. In the beginning, it looked good, but Georgia, settled in on him. He had 19 for 59 and a touchdown. Uh, BB Brian T. He had 8 carries for 35 yards. Robbie had 4 for 33 and a touchdown. And so, and PT1, my boy Peyton Thorne. I talked about him last week about I had one crazy about him running the ball. 12 carries for 92 yards was a totally different outcome from the 11 carries for negative yards that he had the week before.
Yep.
So, we really ran the ball well. Like I said, we had 219 yards rushing. We turned Georgia over twice. Kicking game was good. McPherson, I've been raving about Evan McPherson since last year. He has proven me right every week this season. Every Saturday, he has backed me up on the confidence that I had in him. Oscar punted 5 times. He did a good job. And we played hard. We played with heart. Jalen got a pick, which was an awesome pick. Awesome pick. That was an unbelievable play he made on the ball.
4 picks our season.
Yeah, now I did like Dejon Edwards had 19 carries for 76 yards. He had 2 touchdowns. They really weren't, long touchdowns, but 19 for 76. That's right under, a little under 4 yards carry. We did a good job. We didn't let them just run all over us. They had 107 yards total as a team. They're really close to a 200-yard rushing team. So we did a good job of containing the run. We didn't necessarily just stop it cold turkey, but we did a great job of containing the run. Right. We ran the ball very well. We played spirit. The kicking game, special teams. I was big on. We gave them a big kickoff return in the first quarter that set them up for that first touchdown. But then we came back with ours. But T hit him for a big one. He's due for a big. He's gonna run one back. He might run 2 back by the end of the season. He's gonna get him 1 or 2 for the end of the season. Yep. So things I like, the way the PT played under control. PT1 played under control. We ran the ball effectively. 219 yards rushing. Jalen, we turned him over twice. So there was some things those were some of the things that I really liked. Rivaldo led us in receptions again. He was 4 for 44. So those were some of the things I liked. The crowd was electric. Even Kirby gave the crowd props, the atmosphere. He gave hats off to the atmosphere, the props that made the game. We made it tough on him. That was Carson Beck's first road game as a starter in the SEC. And he spoke on the atmosphere, the crowd. So hats off to Auburn's faithful. We need to show up like that every home game to support our boys and to put pressure on the other team to make them realize where they are. They are in Jordan Hare. They are on the plains, and it is one of the toughest places, most electric places to play in all of America. And it's 100 and some football teams in Division 1A. You got a multitude of teams in the D1 old school D1 AA. You got D2, D3, JUCO, but without a shadow of a doubt, anytime you go to Jordan Hare from 11 o'clock to 2:30 to 6:30, 7 o'clock kickoff, you got your hands full because our crowd comes with it every time, from the student section to the top of the bleachers and the nosebleeds all the way out to the parking lot. We are loud, we are there, we are engaged, and we are going to make it hard for you. And the crowd did their part. Defense did well enough to win, holding Georgia to 27. Offense could have been a little better, but those are some of the things I like. We can talk about what you like, and then we'll get into our dislikes.
Yeah. I kind of on the same page. I love that we started off running the ball. The big run from Peyton Thorne, I think that set kind of the momentum of what
yes, sir.
for the game. I was like, oh, okay. As soon as he broke that run, I said they going straight RPO. I said, and that was good. I think Hugh Freeze and Philip Montgomery had an excellent game plan going into that game of how they wanted to craft and play on Georgia's weaknesses. Of course, we're gonna talk about things they struggle on offense, but I definitely love the game plan. I thought our defense was solid until the end of it. Like you said, Jalen Simpson. I mean, I honestly think Jalen Simpson might be the best safety in the SEC right now. 4 interceptions already, and we hadn't even hit game 7 yet in the season. He already has 4 interceptions. You got to understand, some safeties, cornerbacks, they average 4 interceptions throughout the entire year. He already has 4 interceptions in 5 games.
Some of them cats have 4 interceptions their whole career.
Exactly. So shout out to him. I think the defense was solid, played great. Eugene Asante. The entire defense put pressure on Carson Beck until like the second half. Like Carson Beck could not really move the football, affecting how he wanted to until they got into the second half and they made adjustments. Of course, you talked about the kicking game. I thought Oscar Chapman put them in tough field positions on the putting game. I think he is one of our secret weapons. He can put the offense in tight spots to make it difficult to go down the field. And I respect them as, hey, you can go down the field after he done putted it at the doggone 5-yard line. Kudos to you. But the fact that he can get it down there and put pressure and that helps us even more, that's a lot. That's a lot. Of course, you talked about Matt Pearson. I think he did an excellent job keeping us in the game consistently when he was called upon. He didn't miss any kicks. Made sure the ball, didn't go out of bounds on the kickoffs. Stuff like that makes a difference because you're not giving yardage. And since we talking about penalties and yardage, I thought we did excellent in not being penalized in the game. I think we only had, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think we only had like 2 or 3 penalties the whole game compared to the week before, which was a ton of improvement. And I think the penalties that we did see were, I was like, yeah, I can see that. And then some was like, okay. So I can appreciate the improvement that we saw just all the way around from the team. Of course, the atmosphere was there. Everybody was electric. It felt like SEC, how Auburn used to be when a top team came into Auburn. That's how it's supposed to be. As you listen to Gary Danielson and the commentators, they made a big emphasis on when number 1 teams coming to Auburn, they lose. And Georgia almost lost that game coming into Auburn as the number 1 team. And they stressed that number 1 teams coming into Auburn do not have an easy day. They either lose or they struggle. So that just shows you we have the environment, we have the fans, we have the team that will give you problems throughout the rest of the year. So kudos to our guys. They played hard. They was aggressive. They wanted to win that game. I can't say that they did not want to win that game. Every fiber in me knows that they wanted to win that game super, super bad. And it didn't look like they just coming out there and like, oh, we want to just compete. They wanted to win. And that just speaks to how Hugh Freeze has changed the atmosphere and the vibe of this team. Instead of just wanting to compete, but just not only wanting to compete, but wanting to win bad. So kudos to them. Now we talked about the good. Let's talk about the things that we could have did much better and we didn't like. So Tony, what you didn't like about Saturday?
Before I get to my dislikes, I'm gonna tell you one other thing that I was aware of and that I took from that game that was a positive. With all those recruits who were there that were, yes, they might have came just because they were with Georgia. We showed top recruits how close we are.
Yes.
We showed top recruits that, hey, if you're a top tight end, we're gonna move you around. We're gonna put you in a different position. We're gonna get you the ball. Hey, Bubba and old man, that's right. Simp is playing unconscious. Hopefully he will be good to go at LSU. Now we did lose. We did lose our defensive end. The boy that came in from Maryland. He's gone for the year. But Keldrick Falk from down in Highland Home, who I sold a car to. Keldrick Falk will probably take over for his position, which is great for the future of the program when other recruits can see a high 4-star freshman get on the field. As soon as somebody goes down, he's the next man up, and he's going to be ready to play. So I want to speak on that. With all the recruits we had in tow on Saturday, they got to see us take Georgia to the wire. And Coach Freeze and Montgomery and Travis and all those boys can go to them and say, hey, if we had you, we'd have beat them boys.
Exactly.
If we'd have had you, we'd have beat them boys.
That's exactly.
If we would have had you, we'd have beat them boys. So that was a plus. Now we're gonna talk about the negatives.
Hold on before you get into the negative, Anton. We had one comment from Cam. He had Coach Cam and Bubba and the old man. They've been talking. But he did have one good thing. He said defense played great, kept us in for most of the game. Brock Bowers just came alive in the fourth quarter. Absolutely.
Well, hey, Brock Bowers bad at things smoking that tight end in the last, since Kyle Pitts.
Yeah.
He's been the best tight end you've seen in college football since Kyle Pitts. And he's more of a true tight end because he hurt us in the run game too.
Absolutely. And then Bubba and the old man said Nasiah Key is a major loss, but having Falk is a monster. Absolutely.
That's right. Keldrick Falk is going to shine the rest of the season. He is going to shine. I got nothing but positive things to say about Keldrick Falk. He's a quality young man. He's an even better. He's just as good as a young man as he is a football player, and he is a hell of a football player. So I expect nothing but good things from him, setting that edge and getting to the quarterback. He's got a little more popping in the pass rush than Mason Kyle did. So I look forward to seeing him play. And you're right, Cam. Shout out to my boy Cam every week. He's with us. Bubba and the old man always with us. The defense played lights out. They gave us what they had. At the end of the day, Georgia was just a little bit. They're just a better team than we were. Yeah. At the end of the day, they had Brock Bowers, they had Carson Beck. We did, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. Marcus Harris played another spectacular game. Shout out to Marcus Harris. He's been balling all year. Mm-hmm. Him and Jalen Simpson are the best two things we got. Like I told you, beginning of the year, our secondary is the strongest point of our team. But yeah. We get to some of the bad. All right, we allowed Carson Beck to complete 70% of his passes.
Yeah.
For 313 yards. Now he only threw one touchdown, and we also picked him off. But that 70% completion for 300-something yards, I wasn't thrilled about that. Brock hit us for 8 for 157. That boy was going. Whoa! That boy was hot like fire. We couldn't do nothing with it. God dog. Brock Bowers is a man among boys, man. I'm telling you, boy. I'm talking about ain't nothing like that, Brock Bowers. Hey, we ain't gonna see that every week. I don't care. You go in the SEC, the ACC, the Big 12, Big 10, Pac-12, Mountain West, the SWAC, the SEAC, the MEAC. You ain't gonna find too many Brock Bowers until you go to the NFL. That's where them's at. Them's is in the NFL. So we were dealing with an NFL player on a college football level, because that's all he is. If the freshman could have went to the draft, he'd have been a first-round pick last year.
Mm-hmm.
If sophomores could go to the draft, he'd have been a first-round pick this year. That boy, and he got one more year. Lord have mercy, we kind of keep dealing with this boy. But we couldn't stop Brock and Beck. Beck had a good game. He did. Jalen picked him up in the first quarter, but after that, he was on point. First downs, they had 19. We were right there with 17. He was contained for most of the games in the fourth quarter. Well, we did a good job. That's what I'm saying. Special people make special plays when it's time. In the fourth quarter, it was nut cutting time, Cam. And Brock Bowers showed and proved.
Yeah.
We couldn't do nothing with him, bro. We couldn't do it. When it was time to make plays, the best players showed up, and that was Brock Bowers, best player on the field. Hey, hey, Zach Andrews, Junior Rose Green, Brian Robinson, somebody come get him. Brad Well, somebody. Now I'm gonna tell you what a game I feel like was won and lost. Now we only had 307 yards total offense.
Yeah.
219 on the ground. We had 88 passing yards. That is atrocious. You will not win an SEC game with less than 100 yards passing. I'm sorry. Last week we showed that we only had 70-some yards, maybe 100. Maybe he had 100. I don't think he had 100 yards last week. And he did not. It followed up with another sub 100-yard passing game. 2 losses, two sub 100-yard passing games. That's going to be a theme, guys. If we can't pass for over 100 yards, we're not going to win very many games. This is not Army. This is not Navy. This is not Georgia Tech under Paul Johnson. That ain't going to fly. We was in the game, but had we been more effective in the passing game, we probably could have won the game. So I'm going to just say that. Now, this is where I feel like the game was won and lost because we won the turnover battle. We won the rushing game battle. We had the crowd. Kicking game was excellent. Defense was playing. Georgia was 8 for 13 on third down. Auburn was 2 for 12.
Yeah.
1 for 3 on fourth downs. So on big conversion downs, that when you have to have it, oh my Lord, when you gotta have it, we was 3 for 15. I ain't a math major, but I know that shit ain't good. 2 for 12, 1 for 3. I mean, what is it? We couldn't convert when we needed to. And that was a big. We went for it on 1 4th down where I felt like we should have probably went ahead and kicked the field goal.
Yeah.
Like I said, that first 4th down we went for, we got it. Then we went for another one in 6 straight power. You know how ridiculous that is, Cam? To have fewer than 100 yards passing in 6 straight Power 5 games. You know how pathetic that is?
Yeah.
And I bet you don't want to know our record in those games. I would assume it was 1-4.
Yeah.
So, not convert. We had 12 third. They had 1 more third down attempt than we did, but they had 6 more conversions than we did. And that where the game was lost and won on 3rd and 4th down. 2 for 12 and 1 for 3 is not going to get it. We had a bad snap on a 4th down, which we can't have. Transfer portal, Eastern Carolina. Aaron, I think it's Jones, the center Jones. Bad snap on 4th down. Quez can get nowhere. Turn it over. I wish we would have kicked the field goal.
Same.
So I didn't like going forward as much as we did. One of them I agree with. The other 2, I was like, maybe we should kick it. But on those third downs, man, 2 for 12, you ain't gonna beat nobody. You're not gonna beat anybody with 88 yards passing and a 2 for 12 third down conversion. You're not gonna beat anybody like that. So that's something during the bye week we need to work on. We need to work on what we're doing on third down. The third, we need to have third and manageable. And when we have those third and manageables, we need to convert. I don't mind going for it on 4th and 1, but I'd rather not. I'd rather get that third down, get that first down, and keep the chains moving. I don't like putting our defense in that position. Even though Georgia had a long way to go when we did convert some of those third downs, the defense stood up. I don't like putting them in those predicaments. So another thing I didn't like, our second leading receiver was Brian Battie out the backfield. 3 catches, 18 yards. It's not going to cut it, man. If you're going to feature a back out the backfield, he needs to be getting 3 catches for 32 yards. You know what I mean? That 6 yards out of the backfield, that's not going to cut it. We were sacked 3 times. We didn't sack Georgia 1 time Saturday. We didn't sack them at all. Did not like that. We gave up 420 yards total offense. Most of that came in the air. They only had 107 on the ground. So we picked Brock off in the first half. The thing I don't understand is why are we in shotgun forward? Now it's forward. Say exactly. Why are we starting from way back there? If you gonna do what you do, but man, Bubba, Bubba and old man, I say this, they're working on, they wanted the RPO game. And they wanted to give PT1 options on that 4th and 1, but with a bad snap, you don't have a chance to do anything. But if you're on the center, it's very hard to have a bad snap on the center.
Yep.
So you know what I'm saying? That's something we need to look into. So yeah, I didn't like Peyton. Peyton was 10 for 19, 82 yards. Not gonna cut it, but that needs to be your first half number. You got 10 completions, you only got 82 yards. That needs to be in the first half. So those were the things that I did not like. I did not like our third down defense. 8 for 13 is really, really good. I didn't like our third down offense. 2 for 12 is really, really bad. I didn't like our fourth down conversions. Usually we're 1 for 2. We're gonna get one every game. We'll get one. Yeah. Now the other 2 or 3 that we try, I don't know what's gonna happen. We haven't been getting. We'll get one, then we won't get the other. So, we need to get better on third downs. If we're gonna go for it on fourth down, we need to have a better. We need to have a better plan of action.
Right.
We need to be better executed. Now, one thing I need to see coming into the LSU game after the bye week, I'd love to see an improved passing game, man. We got guys that can catch the ball and make plays. Jair Shorter, Jay Fair, Rivaldo, Shane Hooks, Cam Brown. We got guys that can make plays. We're not giving them opportunity to make them. So I'd like to see the passing game get better. I'd like to see our third down defense get better. I'd like to see our third down offense get better. There's some momentum in the loss. There's some great things that you can take from that loss and go into the bye week. And there's some things that we can tweak because we looked like a much better team from College Station to Auburn from last week to this week.
Yep.
Now, I want you to take this week and the next and look even better when we see LSU.
Yep.
So the coaching staff showed me that they know how to respond and react to a tough situation. They know how to adjust. When Robbie came in, he did his thing. Excuse me. I like that. We only gave up 3 sacks this week as opposed to 7 last week, so we cut the sacks in half.
Yep.
Just about more than half. 3.5 and 7. So we cut the sacks down a little over half. If we can do that again, going into LSU, we might only get sacked once or twice. I'd take that. Georgia was a monster. It still is. And we looked that monster dead in the face, and we took him head on. And we gave him all we had. 27-20. I can't complain. We played better than I expected. Crowd was with us. Anybody else on this schedule with that crowd, and if we play to that level and just get a little bit better on third down on both sides of the ball, I don't see why we should lose another game this season.
Yeah.
If those boys play the way they played Saturday with that same intensity, those coaches coach and keep improving guys week to week, it should be very hard to beat us the rest of the year. But we have to improve the passing game. We have to improve on third downs on both sides of the ball. And I think from last week to this week, I saw a much better team. I saw a much improved game plan. If we can just keep that up, and the coaches that we have, I believe in our coaches and I believe in our guys. Yeah, we definitely shouldn't lose another home game. But I mean, I like to see us take that on the road too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? 2 things I know for sure. Run game and defense travel. wherever you go. If you can run it, you can run it at home. You can run it on the road. And if you can play defense at home and on the road, you have a chance to win every ball game you're in.
Right.
So if we can continue, we can just build on what we did well Saturday and improve the things that we did. Man, it should be hard to beat us going down the line.
Facts. I agree with you, but on one thing, and you mentioned the passing. He should have had. He has the receivers. I would say this: Peyton Thorne. He was throwing the rock, and a couple times they dropped or was not in the right routes. Because he had one where Malcolm Johnson didn't catch it, or he couldn't get possession of it, and then one Nick Martiner, he didn't even turn. So I think you got to put some blame on these receivers too, because they're not also giving when he's putting the ball where they're supposed to be, and they're not passing or not following through with the routes. That makes things harder, because he even looked at Martin and was like, "Hey, like that was your route. Like you were supposed to turn and catch the ball." So I think you got to also put some accountability on these guys too, on these receivers. And like, hey, like if he's putting you in position to make plays, make big plays, to get
Got to
first,
make it.
you got to make it. I mean, and I saw a lot of that. Like I was like, Peyton Thorne, he putting them in the right position to make good plays, but then they drop it just like Jarquez Hunter. He tossed it off to him, and Jarquez Hunter bobbing the ball. I'm like, come on, bro. Like, like stuff like that, you make it hard for your quarterback to get a rhythm. So you gotta catch those things when that happen. Like I said, I mean our passing game has to improve. I did see a little bit of improvement with Peyton Thorne. He played a decent game, but like you said, he has to continue to get better. It's just the passing game. I think just overall, like I mentioned, I think they play hard, but I think at the end you could tell, especially when Oscar Chapman had put them down and I think at like the 2 or 3 yard line, and they got all the way down and scored that touchdown. I was like, the defense tired. So
Yeah.
I was like, you have to give the defense enough time to get off the field so they can get rest, because you can tell they was just tired. Because if that was at the beginning of the game, it's like, oh, bro, this got to be either safety or we about to get the ball back. But those boys have been out there for so long that I think they just like, man, we tired. We need a break, and we need the offense to come in here to kind of relieve us. But you didn't see that. So I think we all can agree that the offense must play better in order for this team to continue to be good, just all around. Of course, we said the running game was much improved, but I'm agreeing with you, Tony. Brian Battie cannot be your leading receiver or your second leading receiver.
Second leading receiver cannot.
Fairweather played again fairly, as Fairweather does. He plays well. But Brian Battie cannot be your second lead receiver. You got Shane Hooks, Kalen Brown, Jair Shorter, Jay Fair. Jay Fair, I mean, was the outstanding guy the first couple games, and then I don't know what happened in the Georgia game. But then again, they might have noticed that he was our leading receiver, so they might have put double coverage on him. So that always happen too. But other guys got to step up.
I tell you what, if they don't find a way to include all these receivers going forward, what's the incentive for Perry Thompson to stay committed to us?
Yeah, Perry Thompson and Kane.
What's the incentive for them to stay committed? We need to show that we're going to get you guys the ball. Now, he's shown in the past he's going to get you the ball. But it's different, with A.J. Brown and the DKs and the guys at Liberty. But we need to see that on the Plains. We need to see that now.
The old man said 6 drops, 1 Martin didn't even look at the back shoulder exactly.
So that's what That's 16 for 19. That's 17 for 19. If you take away those, if you catch those 6 balls and Martin turn around, that's 17 for 19.
Gotta help him. You have to help him.
For 200 some yards.
200.
That makes that's keeping drives alive. That's putting points on the board. That's what we gotta do. That's what we gotta correct in the bye week moving forward. We have to get better in the passing game, as far as decision making. Simply just concentration, catching the ball.
He said, man said, PT.
Yeah, that slant to Jay Fell was pretty terrible.
Yeah, I agree.
But overall, he played a pretty good game. Receivers got to help him. They probably wasn't used to the ball being on point thus far because last week he was terrible. But all in all, his job is to pitch it. Their job is to catch it. So if we can capitalize, like I said, if we can improve our third down offense and defense, we will be hard to beat the rest of the way out.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
There's no way this team should lose. I had us what? I think I had us 2 or 3 losses. I think I had us losing these 2 games, Texas A&M and Georgia. Then I had us going into the bye, coming back beating LSU. And I think I had us running the table the rest of the way. Yep. And I still feel like that's very feasible. That can be done.
Yep, absolutely.
A 2-loss season could be attained in Hugh Freeze's first. There's no way we should finish. There's no reason we should finish this thing with 5 or 6 losses. There's no way. There's no reason. Ole Miss is going to be a tough game, but we should be able to beat those guys. Don't we? We got both of the Mississippis at home, right?
Yeah, both of them at home.
We got Alabama, Georgia, and the 2 Mississippis at home. We got to go to Baton Rouge next week.
And we seen, and just looking at LSU, they have a good offense, but they defense.
Yeah, but see, that's that. See, do we have we got to have the offense to take advantage of that defense?
Exactly.
Our offense has to be able to take advantage of that defense. So,
and Bowman Old Man said that LSU. I always said
now, Bub and Old Man that might play very well into Hugh Freeze's game plan. If we can put 219 on Georgia, we can put 300 on LSU.
Mm-hmm.
We can very well put 300 on LSU, and I just want to see what time the game is too, because that's gonna make a big difference too. If it's a night game and them folk got all time to get liquored up, boy, oh Lord, it's gonna be tough. If we can go and get in there kind of early, we might get hang and bang.
I'm gonna break your spirit right now because the game is either 6, 7 o'clock, so it's gonna be a night game regardless. So
boy,
it's gonna be an old fashioned.
They're gonna be liquored up and speaking all kind of bon yong chong yong 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 blah 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 blah. Now they're talking like the man from Waterboy. I don't know what them folk be saying down there. Don't buy you. That's all I hear. Go Tigers. But hey, like I said, if we can improve on that 2 for 12, if we can change that 2 for 12 to 6 for 12, 8 for 12, we can win. And we can take Georgia, we can take that 8 for 13 on defense and make it 4 for 13, 4 for 13, 5 for 13. That could be the difference in a win and a loss, man.
Yeah.
So I look forward to them Cajuns get crazy. Yeah, they do, boy. They get crazy, boy. So like I said, with 17 first downs and only 2 for 12 and only 3 for 15 on conversions down, that was a really good get. That was really good to get those 17 first downs despite being 3 for 15 on conversions down. We played really well. We had a chance to be ahead of the sticks often. LSU doesn't have a Brock Bowers. They don't have a Dejon Edwards. They don't have a Carson Beck. But Jaden Daniels is sneaky good. He got blowed up last week. I don't know if he's gonna make it to the next. But you know what I'm saying? They got that neighbors boy at receiver. He can play. But their defense is, a little solid. We're gonna talk about them next week. We'll talk about them. But as far as this Georgia game, shout out to Marcus Harris and Jalen Simpson. But T caught the ball well, ran the ball well. PT ran the ball well. We can do a little better passing. Receivers need to step up. Those offensive linemen did a good job. We cut sacks in half. Evan McPherson is money. I love him. We just need to shore up some things in a couple of places. Third down offense, third down defense, and I'm ready to rock and roll for the rest of the season, man.
Yeah, listen. I agree. I think we can, like you said, we honestly probably should only lose one more game, if that, if that. But
Hey, I think the LSU and the Ole Miss games are the only games that's gonna be maybe a little shaky on us. If we can get those games, I ain't worried about Mississippi State. I think we can handle Arkansas. Uh, I ain't worried. And Bama coming to us, so we gonna pow pow pow. We'll foul up in that ass. I ain't worried about them. I ain't even thinking about them right now. They ain't got no quarterback. They beat us. They beat us because they had Bryce Young the last couple of years. They ain't got no Bryce Young this year.
yeah,
Last time they came to us, we what 4 overtimes?
yeah, 4 overtimes.
Ain't no Bryce Young. Ain't no Bryce Young. Ain't no Meacham. Ain't no Jameson Williams. Ain't none of that.
It's
I
Texas.
ain't sweating. I ain't sweating them cats.
Yeah,
They living off name, not game. So I ain't sweating them cats. I'm
I'm
worried
very.
about next. I'm worried about next Saturday in Baton Rouge and Ole Miss on the Plains, and we can navigate those 2 games. If we can come out of those, as long as we don't lose both of them.
Right.
If we can come out 2-0, 1-1, I'm telling you, one more loss, and I think that might be it. I think I called 10-2 at the beginning of the season. Everybody laughed. My two losses happened. I said at A&M, I believe in Jimbo. Cause I love me some Jimbo. Even from back in his days at Auburn, I've always been a Jimbo guy. From his days at Auburn to then when he went to LSU with Jamarcus Russell, when he went to Florida State. I love me some Jimbo. So forgive me, Auburn fans. I believe in Jimbo. He's a hell of a guy. He's a hell of a coach. And I thought we would go down there and lose to him, and we did. I thought we would lose at home to Georgia, and we did. Now, the bye week going into LSU, if Hugh Freeze is who we think he is, we're gonna come out and win this game next Saturday.
Yeah. I'm very interested to see how LSU play against Missouri this week, with Missouri being undefeated and Missouri being ranked and hot right now, and LSU not looking too good.
Where's the game played?
They play in Missouri this week.
Hey,
I'm
this is
very,
gonna be something to watch.
I'm very interested to see how they show up for that game, because how they show up for that game this week will let me know everything about next week.
Cause I'm gonna tell you, they can't look past Missouri talking about looking at us. You better worry about Missouri.
Missouri is still undefeated.
My boy Drinkwine or whatever they call it, I think it's Drinkwine or something like that. That man doing some coaching up there.
Drink with.
Yeah, that man doing some coaching up there. So, and they better not be looking past LSU trying to check on us. Cause you look past Missouri trying to check on us, you're gonna lose again. You're gonna be on 2-game losing streak. You're not really lost 2 games. You know what I'm saying? We handled y'all week 1, and then you just lost to Ole Miss. So you can't stop nobody as it seems. And we ain't the best offense, but if we can just run that thing down their throat like Bubba, and probably more the old man than Bubba. Like the old man, I'm gonna give credit to the old man for that one. Like the old man said, we can just run it down their throat. We can beat LSU.
And they said that Mizzou DL is serious.
Missouri always got a good defensive line, man. Historically, they keep some good defensive linemen. Even back to their Big 12, Justin Smith, Sheldon Richardson, Michael Sam was SEC stud. Like that boy, they had another Beckner, that Terry Beckner boy. They keep some defensive linemen now. I don't know what they be doing. They keep some defensive linemen in Missouri now.
Big receivers too. They always
got a big tire receiver too.
So, like I said, how LSU play this week is how I know they're gonna be against Auburn. That's gonna tell me everything. Now, all the rest of the teams, I'm agree with you. I think we got the best defense out of the entire SEC, probably besides Georgia. So I think we should give everybody else fits.
Yeah, we should give everybody some fits. We should give a lot of fits the rest of the year.
Yeah, so it's gonna be a very, very interesting season of rest of the way. This we about to wrap up. Is anybody have any questions before we wrap up? I know we had some faithful watchers and viewers, Cam and Bubba and the old man. Anybody else that's watching or anybody y'all got any questions?
Any questions, comments, emotional outbursts, anything you got, give it to us now. Forever hold your peace till next week.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Cam, are you gonna be at homecoming this week? Troy,
Shout out to my baby for this good ass drink.
He asked me, "Is I'm coming to homecoming?" Cam, I will not be at homecoming. Unfortunately, this year I have a prior engagement with my girl.
Homecoming for who?
For Troy University.
Man, y'all talk about that on the phone, man. We talking about it. We don't want to hear about that shit, man. Man, y'all going on, man. We don't want to hear nothing about no Troy homecoming on no Auburn podcast, man. Bro, y'all don't strike. Hey, we gonna strike that from the record. We'll let y'all got each other phone number. Y'all can text and talk about that. We'll talk about that on our show. Talk about no Troy homecoming on our show.
You talk about Miles being English, ASU.
Hey, yeah, I mentioned a score. Y'all talking about faking plans on going to the game. Man, come on, man.
Don't be doing Troy like that.
Hey, shout out to the Trojans, man. Shout out to the Trojans. I got a little homeboy. Shout out to my homeboy, Jackson. What Jackson last name? Jackson Thomas, wide receiver for Troy. I think Jackson number 8, true freshman, Jackson Thomas. Shout out to my boy Jack down there at Troy, a receiver, doing his thug thizzle. True freshman. Shout out to Jack.
Appreciate that, Bubba and the old man.
Hey, Bubba and the old man. We'll see y'all next week, man. Same bat time, same bat channel, baby.
Yes, sir. We ain't forgot y'all this season either.
Oh yeah, we'll see y'all. Y'all be on for the end of the year.
Yeah, kinfolk.
That's right. Kinfolk that ain't skinfolk.
No, y'all playing this episode because Bubba and Toney, they
two of my favorite European Americans.
See, Bubba and Toney. If y'all ain't seen the prior episodes, them two together. Right.
Bubba thing I'm trying to play with. Bubba don't know I ain't forgot. I'm gonna whoop his ass. Put that belt on Bubba.
And me and old man, if you like, Lord Jesus, what we signed up for? Oh man. Well, hey, is there nothing else to be said? We appreciate y'all for watching and checking us out once again here on CNT Talking Tigers. We'll be back again next week, same time. Hopefully, if nothing changed. We'll be back here next week for you all talking about you game. Oh, hold on, we got another comment. I ain't forgot, Toney. You're gonna have to see.
You're gonna have to feel me, Bubba. But hey, Bubba and the old man, Cam, anybody out there watching, listening, man, you could have been anywhere in the world tonight, but you was here with us, and we appreciate you. We really do. And in the words of Russell Simmons, I quote every week, thank y'all for coming out. God bless you. Good night.
War Eagle.
War Eagle, baby. War Eagle. Hey.